Hi, my name is Roshan. That's Roshan C. Evans. And I am a registered sex offender. And it all began when I was 17 years old from a female sneaking out of her home that I didn't know snuck out of her home. But if I knew at the time she snuck out of her home and I would have to be a registered sex offender for the rest of my life in Houston, Texas, I would have surely sent her back home. At the age of 17, when this girl did whatever she did and got in trouble with her mom, my initial charge was kidnapping. But I didn't kidnap anyone. Then they changed my charge to rape. And I surely didn't rape anyone either. And the best they can do by satisfying this girl's mother was to give me the lowest charge they can possibly give me just to make her be quiet, because she just wanted somebody to get in trouble by any means necessary because she couldn't control her daughter and they was having some kind of in-home problem and whatever happened. But they gave me a charge in order to satisfy this lady, and the best charge they can give me was statutory. But the Michigan law states that you can't legally have sex or nothing like that if you're 16 and under. You'll need a parent or legal guardian's consent. And I just hit that mark. I was 17 years old. The young lady is literally 1 year and 4 months younger than me. And with that 1 year and 4 month gap, it placed me above the line and her at and under the line. So she was still considered a minor. So I ended up signing a plea deal for statutory rape. And when I signed my plea deal was like 36 months probation, 6 months ankle monitor, and 10 years to register as a sex offender. I had no idea what a sex offender was. Never even heard the phrase sex offender before. But I signed the deal, and I signed the deal because I didn't want to do 15 years in prison. I had two options, and only two options. No other options. And it was either 15 years in prison or sign this plea deal for statutory and take the 36 months probation, 6 months ankle monitor, and the 10 years to register. Well, that was when I was 17 years old. Today, I am 37 years old. 37 years old, and I'm still on the sex offender registry list. And I can't believe it. 10 years, when 10 years came for the sex offender registration, and I thought it was going to be over, it wasn't. 11 years came, still registering. 12 years came, still registering. 15 years came down here in Texas, still registering. That's when I was a little fed up. And it's like, I'm not doing this no more. Why am I here? I signed a plea deal, and it was explained to me as a 17-year-old that I would only have to register for 10 years. So why am I still here? Why am I still registering? Why won't you let me go from this sex offender registry? Texas told me if I want to be removed from the sex offender registry, to leave Texas, go back to Michigan where the case initially took place, never return back to Texas ever again in life, period, under any circumstances. And I left. That's exactly what I did. They told me I didn't need any paperwork. They was going to be in communication amongst each other. When I left to Michigan, I would say a few months went by, and after a few months went by, Texas Marshals was coming to pick me up from Michigan to bring me back to Texas for failure to register in Texas, even though I had already left and went back home where the case initially took place. I did end up going to prison behind it. I felt, again, I was taken advantage of when I got incarcerated. It's like, who has the jurisdiction? Michigan or Texas? But Texas do what they want to do. But anyways, I got incarcerated. I came to Texas. And the day I got to Texas, the day I get to Texas after I was lost in the system for 30 days, and I'm explaining here without talking to the camera for a whole hour or two. But the day I get here in Texas, I have a lawyer. Can't think of her name right now. But it was a white lady. And the day that I met her, the day that I got here, I told her, I say, look, I've been through enough with this case. You know, I've been through too much, and I don't want to go through anything else. And I really need you to represent me. I really want you to represent me and not just be a face of me. And she said, okay, I will. And the first plea deal or bargain she came and brought me was that if I gave them $1,500, they would release me and act as if none of this ever happened. Now, I didn't have $1,500 to give them. I mean, I was lost in the system for 30 days. Nobody knew where I was at. I didn't have access to any ATMs, and it's not like I had money in my pocket. I was in their custody. So $1,500 I wasn't able to do. So she left and she came back with a 6-month state jail deal that I did not want to take. I told her I am not taking any deals, not doing any time, because I signed a deal for statutory when I was 17 with a female that was 1 year and 4 months younger than me, and my case is a total mishap. It happened before the Romeo and Juliet laws, and I shouldn't be here. And I explained to her at the time I signed the deal when I was 17, it was explained to me that I would only have to register for 10 years and that I'm well beyond my registration. It didn't matter. She left, she came back, and she offered me 2 years prison time. I couldn't believe it. I told her I couldn't take it. And she told me that if I do not take that deal, that she was going to have to postpone my court date out 30 days or more. And she assured me that I would get more time than the 2 years she's offering me right now if I didn't sign that deal. And this is where I tried to recant and go back to the $1,500 deal. She wouldn't give it to me. I tried to take the 6-month state jail deal. She wouldn't give it to me. She said all deals are off the table except 2 years prison. And that's my only option. And I felt that, once again, I had nothing to do or no other option except sign this plea deal, or I will find myself in a longer prison sentence behind a case that initially should have never taken place. So, once again, I signed another deal. Not because I felt like I should, but because I felt like I had no other option. So I signed this deal for 2 years in prison, Houston, Texas, and I did my time. I paroled out. I finished my parole. I did everything I was supposed to do. And I get out, still on a sex offender registry, which, again, it was explained to me at the age of 17 I would only have to register as a sex offender for 10 years. I'm 37. But I'm out of prison. You know, I'm doing good. I'm a community leader. I'm an activist. I'm fighting for criminal justice reform, and I'm in school, college, honor roll student. I'm doing everything a model citizen would want to do, or should be doing, or it's like, what else can I do? But as I'm in school, the semester right before I graduate, this case once again come back to bite me. And I was kicked out of school from my statutory case that took place when I was 17 years old with a female that was 1 year and 4 months younger than me. And I was kicked out of school for failure to register on the school campus, even though I'm registered with the state. So they kicked me out of school. The school had to sort some things out. Eventually the school did figure it out, and they allowed me to come back in school. But in the midst of them trying to figure it out, I ended up getting an internship for we had midterm elections. We had a Democratic wave down here in Houston where actually 17 new judges took office, black females, and I campaigned for them. I campaigned for the judges. I brought them up to the school so they can speak, so the students can get a chance to know them. I wanted the students to get more active in politics and what's going on. And I ended up getting an internship for one of the judges, newly elected judges, while I was kicked out of school. And when it was getting good, while kicked out of school but working my internship in the courthouse, once again, my case from when I was 17 years old, my statutory case from a female 1 year and 4 months younger than me, sneaking out of her home as a kid when we were kids to come hang out with me, that got me on a sex offender registry list, came to bite me again at my courthouse internship. And the police came to literally arrest me at the courthouse for failure to register at my school while the school was sorting out whatever they needed to do on their end to figure out. Okay, so I was registered with the state. I didn't register with the school. I didn't know I had to register with the school. It got me kicked out of school. Easy fix. That easy fix resulted in me getting arrested in my internship. I was in the judge's chambers, literally in the judge's chambers, and we were talking, having a conversation, and they came to her chambers, put me in handcuffs, and walked me through the courthouse and took me to jail from her chambers for failure to register as a sex offender at HCCPD. And now I have to go to court for getting arrested at my internship in the courthouse for failure to register at HCC. Even though I was registered with the state, since I didn't register at both locations, I'm in trouble again. And it's like, when do it stop? When do it end? When I initially signed my plea deal, I didn't even know what a sex offender was. I didn't know what a sex offender registry was. And I was told at the age of 17, I should only have to do this for 10 years. I'm 37 years old now. And they still trying to put me in prison for failure to register at school, when I didn't even know I had to register at the school and the municipality. I thought the municipality was Harris County or the county or the city or wherever I had to go to. I didn't know I had to do both. So now I'm on my way to court, and I have this lawyer that I'm hoping I don't have to get another lawyer. So let's go to the courtroom. You know, I know prosecutors, they are, most times, they not willing to throw any cases out. They trying to get a conviction by any means necessary or some kind of plea deal. But I'm just not willing to sign. I'm plea dealed out. But let's go to court and let's see what happens.
They called you for sure, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, show me what you got.
You can come. You're welcome. Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Hi. Who are you to him?
Friend.
Okay.
What's your name?
Kurt.
Questions?
What? Hang on. Are these?
Yeah, them for me.
Here, that's for you. Yeah. Here, go ahead. Take them.